You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Kelvin, and with me today, I'm pleased to say we've all survived the Bell Riots. It's Amy, Kristin, and Mark. Hello, hello. Kristin, happy autumn, happy fall.
It's finally here. I'm so excited. Honestly, the summer was lovely. And for us, we had very few fires, which is growth. But yeah, I'm happy for the chilly weather to be rolling in. So
it's pumpkin spice latte time. And Amy, happy Labor Day weekend to you.
Well, thank you very much. Our summer is a little bit longer, so today I have a fabulous pool party with some local Trekkies here. I'm excited to go to after this. So yeah,
amazing. That sounds like fun. Mark, fresh out of makeup, what have you been up to? You've been celebrating. You've had a weird, what was it, a Day of the Dead festival?
So, when I was in my 20s, there was a number of years in a row where I would host a sort of an August 31st Halloween party. It would sort of kick off the fall, and people could wear a little bit more skimpy costumes and not be miserable walking around the neighborhood. Because, as you know, in New England in the fall, it's quite chilly. So it seemed to me to be a better spot for Halloween to be celebrated in August. And I was talking to some of Andy's friends this past winter about this party that I used to do. And they said, oh, you should do it this year. You have a house. And so Andy and I talked about it. We ended up, we threw it yesterday on the 31st, and it was a lot of fun. So, yeah.
That is genius for all of the gays who go in their leather harnesses as witch, vampire, delete as appropriate. Having Halloween at the end of summer is perfect. We might steal that in the UK. Thank you.
You're welcome. As long as I'm invited.
And guys, we should just point out as well, Christos wanted to be here with us today, but he's looking after a sick relative. So Nurse Christos is away. We love you. We miss you, and all the best to your relative. Right, guys, we've arrived at the season finale of our current run. So it's the final time for us to express a little bit of great joy and gratitude.
Great joy and gratitude.
Amy, would you like to start us off?
absolutely. One of the reasons why I do love living in Las Vegas is that people come here quite often. So I had some lovely Trek friends come into town. Johnny, who is a good listener, met him on the cruise, and he came out. And so we got Will and Matthew together, who are also locals, and we went and had a dinner. So I just love getting to hang out with my Trek friends that come and visit. So I'm very grateful and joyful.
On the subject of leather harnesses.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great link there with Johnny.
Yes.
Did you do your roundtable Trek discussion at dinner? Did you ask any fabulous questions?
Well, we did a little bit, but it wasn't the typical because it was just us three. And so the conversation naturally went there. So
love it. And what about you, Kristin, apart from the changing season?
I have actually been on vacation for the last week. So it's been a nice time to try and get some sense of rest in my brain. I go back to work on Tuesday after the long weekend, but it's been nice to have some downtime and great joy gratitude really to the hotel where we were staying when we went to Seattle. A homeless gentleman broke into the underground parking and stole our key. So we had to come home in a rental, and our car is still in Seattle. and it was just this giant mess. But my goodness, the hotel was so accommodating for everything. So now it's just figuring out how to actually get the car back up here from Seattle. But
you have no luck with journeys coming back from vacation, do
Oh
you?
my gosh.
What's so funny is Justin mentioned that he said the last 2 trips we've taken, something has gone wrong that has been, his words, a mild inconvenience. We got a full refund from the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
So our stay in Seattle was essentially free.
Oh, wow.
It's like our flights back from the cruise that got all messed up, free. So I'm not going to be.
I love that you find the positive in these mild inconveniences. Wow, that's great.
Yes.
Amazing.
Kristin, what's the long holiday that you have? Why are you not going back to work Monday?
Labor Day.
Oh, you celebrate Labor Day as well. Okay.
We sure do. Sure do.
We don't. I'm back in work tomorrow. But we had a public holiday last weekend, so
yeah, you guys get these bank holidays all the time. I'm not feeling sorry for you.
We get extras when the monarchy dies, so you never know. The king's quite old now.
So do we.
Yes. Oh, of course, in the realms. And then finally over to you, Mark. What are you grateful for, apart from early Halloween?
I'm grateful for women in their 60s and 70s that are still killing it. Honestly, like in the last week, I've just seen some, in my neighborhood, I've seen some women that just were just rocking it, fashion wise and just body wise and just killing it. And they were older, white hair, but just looked like a badass bitch. And I'm like, wow. And then I saw Catherine O'Hara at the Beetlejuice premiere, and I think she was in an Oscar de la Renta dress. I think that's what it was. Anyway, she just, again, was killing it. I was just like, fuck. I literally told Andy, I was like, if I can look that good in my 60s and 70s, I'll be doing something right. So anyway, the inspiration from women of a certain age, keep on crushing it, because you give us something to aspire for.
I love that.
I love that too.
Amazing. And I guess for myself, mine's a similar vein to Amy. I'm very thankful for our extended Trek family around the globe. So I had our beautiful friend Kristin Carter come and stay with me last weekend. That's why I was absent. It was Manchester Pride, which is a massive festival here in Manchester for Pride, but it's hard. It's 4 days of very heavy partying, and we got through it. But not only was it great to have Christian with us, he arrived from Star Trek Las Vegas with a massive bag full of JJ's com badges, Pride specials. I was just expecting the new Prodigy ones. He literally bought one of every type that JJ had ever made. So massive thank you to JJ. But what was great, we were wearing them on nights out over Pride. And the amount, like on the cruise, the amount of people that would come up to us, and we just kept meeting all of these Trekkies.
Oh,
Manchester. And I was talking to this guy, and he brought his husband over, and his husband just presented his arm, and he had a little Delta tattoo on his wrist.
Oh.
And then there was another guy walking past us with a tiny little Delta pin. So we just grabbed him and started talking to him soon. So it's amazing. We just come out of everywhere, and you just wear these little Pride com badges of JJ's, and it really gets people talking. So thank you.
Again, are there straight Star Trek fans?
Apparently so. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, I mean, please reach out to us, because we're still looking.
Yeah, we're very worried about you all. Where are you? Right. Oh, I always ask Kristin to do something as she takes a massive glug of coffee. I'm hoping it's coffee in your Ractigino cup. Kristin, my love, would you like to introduce today's topic, please?
I would absolutely love to introduce today's topic, because we continue our alternate reality series with part 3 and one of the GOATs, TNGs, yesterday's Enterprise. So the USS Enterprise C emerges from a temporal rift 22 years into the future, causing a shift to the timeline of 2366. Only Guinan is aware of the changes made, and she must convince Picard to send the old Enterprise back to repair the timeline, even knowing it will doom that crew to their deaths.
Ooh, it's
Dun.
always when we read the episode synopsis, it always is like, who doesn't know what happens in yesterday's Enterprise? It's like one of the most famous episodes of TNG ever, and oh my god, and rightly so. Has any of you not watched this episode for quite a while and kind of enjoyed it on your rewatch? I didn't need to. It's one of those episodes I can just close my eyes and it plays. So, Amy, I know you said in our little chat you did it. What did it? Is it a while since you've watched it?
Yes, because it's one of those where it's so well known that it's like, oh, I know what happens. And so it's not usually on my rewatch. And funny enough, as podcasters, we don't really cover the big, as Kristin said, GOAT episodes because everyone knows about them. So this was a real treat. And my goodness, on Paramount do they show the Blu-ray enhanced version of it?
I'm not sure. I know here in the UK, I tend to get a better visual quality through Netflix than I do Paramount. Now, I don't know if that is common across the globe. I know I should watch on Paramount because obviously it will contribute to the numbers and the health of the franchise. But if it's TNG, because you do have the upscaled TNG, I will watch on Netflix, I'm afraid. So I don't know about Paramount, but it looked great on Netflix.
It looked great on Paramount too, because I was just looking at it going, man, they really put some great effort into the uniforms and the lighting and that transition from exploration to a ship of war, that change in everything, the panels, like I could just see it. It was very beautiful. And I was really impressed again why this is a great episode.
So, well, let's get straight in there then, and let's have a look at some of these temporal changes. So, the Enterprise C helping Klingons fight the Romulans at Narendra 3 resulted in lasting peace. And without this pivotal event in history, we see history change. So, Amy, you've already mentioned the lighting and the uniforms. What are some of your favorite changes or effects that we saw in the alternate reality? Kristin, do you want to go first?
I absolutely love that there are no families or children on the Enterprise in the alternate reality. And when Guinan sort of says to Picard, families, there should be families here, he was disgusted.
Yes.
And let's be honest, even in the normal timeline with like the exploration ship, those families are putting themselves in some really extreme danger a lot. It just doesn't seem like responsible parenting. And I mean, again, I am not a parent of a human child, and I would never do that. I wouldn't put my cats in that type of risk. So I don't know. I just thought that the whole no family, this is purely like a professional ship of consenting adults who are there because they want to be, I think just makes a lot more sense than let's tote around some kids into the unknown. No.
Well, following that, because it's a warship and not an exploration, there's going to be no time for counseling, and there's no Troy. Not happy about that. As you know, I love Troy. But so there's this shift of mental health in a time of war where it's like you need to fight, and then I guess we'll take care of your problems later. When I would think a warship was when you absolutely do need a counselor.
Yeah, interesting point. Yeah.
Agreed. Especially considering, when Picard mentions that the war isn't going well, they're probably experiencing a ton of loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so where is that mental health help, Amy? That's a really good point.
Yeah, I noticed as well, and whether it was deliberate or whether it just kind of came across with chemistry, but Picard seemed a lot more on edge and a lot more stressed. And the relationship with Picard and Riker didn't seem like it does normally. He seemed not confrontational, but Picard was countermanding his orders. Riker just looked a bit fed up. And this is probably as a result of all of the stress of the situations that their relationship hadn't developed to the point that we know it had after the 3 years. What about yourself, Mark? What did you observe of the changes to the timeline?
It was cool having Wesley there. This is a Wesley Crusher episode as well, so it was kind of cool seeing him back on the bridge. Obviously, Tasha Yar. I have to say that Denise Crosby, when they brought her back, they gave her like a meaty role for this in a more proper send-off. And I feel like it really showcased her acting ability. She was able to do some things in this episode that we really missed out on that first season when they were developing the show. But she was a tour de force in this one. And I really enjoyed her acting in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't appreciate a meaty part? But Denise always jokes on the cruise and things that she had to die to get a good episode. So this is very much, it was, if you think of like Kessie's return in Voyager and it was just a bit meh, this is like such a great comeback for the character and the actor, and amazing. I will piggyback onto Amy's Troy observation with the Worf observation, because without Worf, they made room for Tasha. But yeah, war with the Klingons meant there would be no Klingons serving in Starfleet. So Worf had his little prune juice scene at the beginning, and then kaput, gone.
Yes. Yeah. So with this, we are introduced to TKLs, which are your standard replicator rationing. Like, did they explain what TKLs are, like what that is, or just some abbreviation that they made up for this episode?
It's an initialization, which I do not know what it means. It's never been explained. Has anyone got any ideas?
Well, I think it's a variation on the theme of the MRE.
Right. Yes.
What's that?
So it's a food ration for the military service members. So when they're overseas, they have like essentially a complete meal in a vacuum sealed. Usually it's dehydrated meats or things like that, soups that they can heat up when they are, in battle scenarios.
Yeah, first created for astronauts.
Got you.
Question: has anyone ever had one?
Yes, I when I went down to Houston and the Space Center, they have them, and you can buy them like pack of 4 with the different foods. They really are quite good for having no air.
I bet they're very nice in calories as well. I bet they're very healthy.
Yes.
So when I was a kid, my dad would go to the the store that sells all of the military surplus supplies.
Yeah, military surplus.
Army surplus store. Yep.
Yeah. And he would pick up just boxes of these. And whenever we would go on like a long camping trip or backpacking trips, that was the food that we would take because it didn't take up a lot of space in your backpack. So yeah, I grew up eating them when we were in the woods.
Yes, I used to do the same thing, Mark. We used to go camping all the time with cadets, and they would bring those all along. And when it was dinner time, we'd all just start boiling our pots of water and chuck in our dehydrated mac and cheese and just live our best lives out there.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if they're healthy though, Kelvin.
Are they not?
The ones
a lot of sodium.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to keep them not rotten. I'm not gonna say fresh, just not rotten. But the ones I had were from the 1960s, and at the time it was 1990. So when you get 30 years on, they're kind of crunchy in places that aren't supposed to be crunchy.
Oh my God. I mean, even though it's a dried, this is me coming at you in a professional food safety capacity now. Even though it's a dried food, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to eat something 30 years past its best before.
I was lucky. At least we got the ones left over from the first Gulf War. I was like, all right. So this would have been, I mean, within a decade.
That's pretty much farmer's market fresh at that point.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, just a couple of TKLs. We are in a hurry. Speaking of, we can get him back to. I really like. I don't know how well known this is, and I can't even reference the source, unfortunately. But I love it that it was explained in one of the books that the reason that Guinan was aware of the changes in the timeline wasn't anything to do with her Elorian abilities. It was actually more to do with her Nexus experience, that it left her with this kind of ESP of what's real, what's not. So I love that, because we don't know many other Elorians apart from that weirdo off DS9 and Soren.
No. You can't retcon that was because of Generations, because Generations happened way later.
She went into the Nexus on the Enterprise B at the beginning.
Oh,
with Malcolm
right.
McDowell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, I love that now.
Allow me to mansplain the continuity to you. But I love it. I just love things. And I will come to it later in the trivia, but there's quite a lot of retcons in this episode, which I love continuity in Star Trek. It's great. It got me thinking, though. I mean, so many of these alternate reality or time travel episodes are about something changing in the past, which affects the future. And it got me to thinking, what's a moment in your own timeline past that if we changed, your present would look a very different place? So have you had any of these kind of sliding doors moments, or if you turned left instead of turn right, your life would be a very different one? Now, clearly, we all remember parallels and quantum realities. It happens every decision, but is there something quite pivotal that you're now a different person because of that? I know that's a big question to throw at you, Amy. Go on, you must have a few.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening last week.
So one thing the first thing that came to my mind was because Tasha's Yar going back and them helping the Klingons seemed very insignificant, but then because of their sacrifice, that the Klingons respected that honor, and that's happened, the uniting of the Klingon and Federation. So it was a small act that led to huge consequences. And so one thing in my life, I wanted to get this job at the Utah Symphony as a telemarketer when I was 16 years old. My friend got the job, and I applied with her, and she got it and I didn't. And I thought, my gosh, why would she get it and not me? I was consoling myself with a chocolate covered ice cream bar, and I was like, I am going to go back in there. So I drove all the way downtown and went there. I said, listen, I really think I'd make a good telemarketer. I love symphony and orchestra. And they're like, okay, well, we will hire you. I get back to my car and I have chocolate all around my lips. I am like, what the crap just happened? How is it that they even gave me a job? I was so embarrassed to even go into my first day. But and then I realized, I don't like telemarketing. So I got a different job at Domino's Pizza. And from that, I got married to the stupid ex-husband. And I think had I not been in desperate need of a job after, going into this telemarketer at Utah Symphony, I might not have been so willing to accept a Domino's Pizza job and tried to go for something, if I had the time to find a real job. So I think if I wouldn't have gone there, I think I wouldn't have been married, and that would have changed my life quite drastically.
Interesting. How does working at Domino's connect to your ex-husband?
That's where I met him.
I'm sensing like some, Amy turns up at the door with a pizza going, hello. Wow, that's amazing. These things are often career related. Our career is such a big part of who we are, and the job we go into often just define us, rightly or wrongly. What about you, Kristin? What's your sliding doors moment?
Oh my gosh. It probably would be back when I just graduated from high school, and I was so desperate to get into post-secondary because I was told you don't take a gap year because the gap year becomes a gap decade. So I was waitlisted at our local university college, and I'm thinking, okay, that's fine, but it's getting close to September. I need to figure out what's going on with my future. So I decided that I was going to apply for, again, I was like chin deep in the church, and they had their hands wrapped right around me, and they're like, you should come to our Bible college, which was a college they ran out of the upstairs of the church, because that's how you know it's quality education. There was just a lot going on, and my mom was like, I don't think that's the right path for you. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And literally I am in my car driving to go register for this school, and my mom phones me on my old Nokia cell phone, and she says, something just came in the mail from the college. Do you want me to open it? And I said, yes. And she opened it, and it was an acceptance letter. And all I could think of, if that phone call had come in 5 or 10 minutes later, who knows where I would have ended up. And that would have greatly affected my future now, because would I have been able to break out of the negative mindset I was in? Would I become even deeper ingrained in the very cult-like behavior that was at that church at the time? And talk about the nick of time. So
do you often reflect on that kind of, we've gone through the temporal rift, things have changed, and there you are back in the church in that life. Do you kind of often think but for the grace of God go I?
for the grace of Hecate or someone else, not I don't know. But it was, just looking at how close it was that I don't even know what my plan was going to be with that. The next thing after that was going to a developing country and trying to push our religion on them, and through the guise of building a school. So I don't know. It was, who knows? I may not have met Justin. I probably wouldn't have met everybody here. I mean, my life would be probably surrounded by a bunch of kids and a husband that wants me to be in a very traditional role, which is just not. So I am forever thankful that the timeline did roll out the way it did.
Love it. And Mark, what about you?
Well, I was thinking about, I might have been 13 maybe or so. I don't know. I was pretty young. There was this contest at my school to read a script, evidently, for like a commercial. And all the kids in my grade were open to audition or whatever. And I ended up winning the contest for reading. So I got to go and go to a recording studio and record a commercial when I was, a teenager. And I was like, wow, like here's something that I am good at. And I ended up, really getting an interest in doing like radio work or in TV work. And that, when I was in high school, I ended up doing some internships and then went to school for broadcasting. And here I am podcasting. So it all, I think, goes back to that, day when I was like 13 years old and I auditioned for that. Had I not put myself out there, well, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. And I have no idea what the heck I'd be doing, because I probably wouldn't have gone to school for it. I don't know what I would have gone to school for. I don't know. But it's like, it's funny to think way back, like it being like that young and having just making one choice. It really changed everything else that followed.
Amazing. I guess for me, I'm going to tie mine into meeting James. We're both, there's a month between us. He's 1 month younger than me. We grew up 20 miles apart. That's where our families are from. We both came to Manchester in 99 to go to university. And for 15 years, we lived our lives in parallel, but never met. we were going to the same bars, the same clubs, doing the same things. We never saw each other. And then one day I was off work, sick, and I was just sat in bed, and I hit refresh on Grindr, and boop-a-doop, he was going past on the bus on the way to work, and he was in the catchment area. And I thought, oh, who's this? This is new. Not seen him before. And we got talking. So a chance encounter of me being off work and him happening to go past as I pressed a button on my phone made him pop up on my screen. And we've been together now over 10 years. So that's the cute one. But I would say, in terms of a real moment, if it wasn't really for the pandemic, I dare say wouldn't be here podcasting with you guys. Clearly, I met Amy in 2019 just before, but Mark, we met online in our infamous Sunday night Zoom sessions where we all used to just help each other through the pandemic week on week, and we've still never met in person after all these years. Crazy.
One of these days.
I know. I'm coming to STLV next year, and I've already booked my hotel room, so it's definitely happening.
Oh, good.
Ooh, awesome.
Ooh. Lovely. Right, well, back to the episode. I'm calling this temporal consequences. So some of the after effects of this episode. It's such an important episode in terms of continuity to the series. What are some of our favorite things that happens after this episode, or any kind of callbacks that we have to it? Who would like to start us off with one? Kristin, would you like to start us off, please?
Yeah, I mean, we learn that, of course, at the end of this, well, past this, the end of this episode, Tasha is captured and taken as a consort to a Romulan general, resulting in Sela being born. So, you know, what would have happened without Sela in the following episodes? So there's a lot that Sela has a part in with Trek after this, and I think the biggest one for me would have been the Klingon Civil War and Redemption. Again, we talk all the time about how much I love that storyline with war throughout TNG, and one of my favorites is Redemption. So without Sela really helping to be sort of the brains behind that the Duras family, because they were kind of bumbling fools, right? It wasn't until Sela came in and really brought some order and some logic into that. If it had just been the Duras sisters and their nephew, I don't think they would have been much of a threat. But bringing in the Romulans definitely made that whole storyline happen, and that brought Worf's honor back. And so without that, you know, now we get that whole butterfly effect.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, obviously there's Geordie's conditioning in the mind's eye, but what do you think about unification? Do you think the Romulan invasion of Vulcan that was planned, would that have happened without Sela? Would it have been less successful, more successful? It's that, as you've said, this butterfly effect of yesterday's Enterprise. What more could we have had?
Yeah. I don't know. Mark, what do you think?
I think that Sela was definitely underutilized as a character in Trek. I would have loved to have seen more Sela.
Where would you have inserted Sela?
Well, definitely in Picard. She would have been in all 3 seasons of Picard as like a mysterious baddie in the background. We'd see her occasionally, and then it would build up to season 3, and then she would just like wreak havoc and let loose the dogs of war. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever. But it would have been pretty epic. That would have been so cool. But I mean, they could bring her back in Lower Decks. They could. I mean, there's so many places you could insert Sela, because she was such a cool villain character. I don't know. I definitely what was the 2-parter there with Spock? Unification. I mean, think of how juicy that was. She was just so just evil and manipulating, and just it was just it was awesome. It was awesome to have a villain like, a Khan, like, just so so dastardly. I don't know. It was a missed opportunity, and I think it still is. I think we could still bring back Denise in some fashion to be Seela, and I hope it happens.
Me too.
My only thing sorry, go ahead, Amy.
Oh no, go ahead, Kristin.
I was just going to say the only thing about unification that worked with the other Romulans is that there was no history with Picard. So they were able to come off as amicable with the Vulcans and wanting to go along with unification. If Seela had shown up, Picard would be like, "Oh, we're out. This is a joke. You can't be serious, right? I've had previous run-ins with you. I know your MO." So that's my only thing about the unification one.
Well, going off what you said, Mark, about Seela in unification, like that's the second time we see her. And she has developed that character. Like you can see that coming inside out. Because the first time, I don't know, I just didn't really buy it. It's like, oh yeah, but then we're used to her. And to see her come in like Face of the Enemy with the Troy episode. So instead of Torth, like how amazing would that be to have Troy and Yar or Seela acting those scenes together, playing off each other? Like that would be gold.
Perfect. And much like we had with Lursa and B'Etor as kind of the celebrated female Klingon adversary that went through into DS9, we could have done the same with Seela. And there could have even been like a redemption, no pun intended, arc of having Seela instead of the Senator Kretak character. So you get antagonistic story with Kira at the beginning of season 7, but then you get the Section 31 on the Bellerophon with Bashir at the end. There's just basically any Romulan storyline after Seela's introduction would have been enhanced with Seela in it, I think.
And why was she not in Nemesis?
I don't know, because Dinatra, man, well, she slayed it. My gosh, what's her?
She was amazing, but even if it didn't mean removing her, just adding Denise in somewhere would have really, again, that tie-ins. That's what Trek does so well, especially with how many years of content they have to use, right? Loop us back, bring back that nostalgia.
Okay, do have Seela on there, but have her twist be like, I'm taking down this beep of a leader, and so that's why she's got the Romulans, because she's gonna take over and like be head over who instead of getting rid of Shinzon. Okay, I'm in for that.
Okay, well, for more Seela love, head over to Star Trek Online, where she features very prominently in the over decade worth of material that we've had on that computer game. So even if you just read, I think she's the Empress, actually, of the Romulan Empire, so there's lots there. Away from Seela, what other kind of ripple effects have we had from this episode?
Rachel Garrett.
Oh, of course.
Because she was featured in Picard as the statue, and that was the whole the testing of the weapon. The thing that really launched the greatest season of Picard, season 3. But not only that, but now we have the Section 31 thing happening. And as we know through spoilers, Rachel Garrett's character plays a pivotal role in that plot line with Philippa Georgiou and going back in time. So we're going to explore her character more, but the character was created for this episode. So I'm excited to dive in more.
So exciting. And we don't know if this is I was going to say a single episode, but it's just a movie. If Section 31 is entirely set at that point in Rachel Garrett's life, or whether she's brought out of time, or it's a fleeting scene. Just that deliciousness of not knowing what's done with this important character, an Enterprise captain that we know so little about. It's so exciting.
On IMDb, she is listed, I think, 3rd in line on the credits. So she's probably one of the more prominent, important characters. Fingers crossed.
I loved the fact the first time of watching this and seeing that in canon, a female captain was recently in charge of one of the fleet's biggest ships, right? So yes, Janeway was the first regular season female captain, but she wasn't the first female captain in Starfleet. There was a lot before her paving the way, and I love that that's explored in this as well.
Wow.
That's a great point. I really like that. One thing I like about the stories we get Lieutenant Castillo, and with Tasha Yar growing up on, those street rape gangs and terrible life, and then striking out with Data. Well, I guess getting lucky with Data, but then obviously, that's not a real relationship.
It never happens.
Yeah. So we do get to see, I think, what is a great relationship, and that I hope that she has, grown and accepted and moved past her past and has this healthy relationship. I love the chemistry between them, especially when it's like, oh, Lieutenant, are we going there? You can call me Richard. I'm just like, oh, I love it. And it's the chemistry that they have just sells the relationship for me. And I like seeing that in her arc of love.
So this is a quick question about that comment. So we know that we've been talking about Sela. We've been talking about Lieutenant, is it Castillo?
Castillo.
Yeah. Castillo. Okay. So at what point was she conceived? So do we think that she was conceived on the parallel universe Enterprise? Or do we think that they survived the battle and that's how she was conceived?
Well, it's explained in not Unification, but the two-parter before that. I just talked about it on Redemption. If you listen over on Union Federation, my other podcast I host.
Nice.
So she did go back, and then that's where she was captured by the Romulans. So she did survive.
And it was something like, if she agreed to be his consort, they would spare the lives of the other survivors. So she kind of did like Kira's mom thing here, where she bit the bullet and, really made the ultimate sacrifice to save people that she loved and cared about.
What a great scene that would have been to explore the fact that she'd fallen in love with Castillo and she did all of this with the Romulan general to protect and save, and he would have been, no, don't do that, don't. And like the tragedy of it. But there's, as B'Elanna says, there's always room for a bit of heart and a bit of passion in every action story. So it's such a great, and do you know what, as I rewatch this episode more and more as I age, my appreciation for that actor, he's hot.
Yes,
he's such a good-looking man.
Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
I've got one that I want to throw out there. It's the Ambassador class starship that we've never seen before this point, and it was deliberately designed to be a middle-of-the-road evolution between the Enterprise D and the older Enterprises, which I thought they got perfect. But you may think to yourself, we don't really see much Ambassador class starships after. We see the Mirandas, the Oberth, the Excelsiors all the time. Why don't we see more Ambassador class ships? And that's because when they used it in the Wolf 359 battle at the beginning of Emissary, the model got really badly damaged, so they weren't able to use it anymore. Now, they could have brought it back when they had CGI, but they didn't for whatever reason. So that is why it is a little bit of a rarity. Somebody bashed it up during the Borg battle.
So when you say that type of ship, is that the Enterprise C you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I also noticed the Enterprise C, and I have been trying to do better at recognizing the differences in these ships that you guys continue to talk on. And so through my podcasting experience, I know that a lot of people really look at the different types of ships. And when I saw the Enterprise C, I was like, oh, I've sort of like it. It's a little shorter and just like a mini Enterprise D. It's got a lot of character. I really do like it.
It's a pretty ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Amy, if someone talks to me about cars, I will be, it's red, it's black. You know, I don't know makes, models, sports. I don't even know what SUV stands for, and I have one. Give me a Federation starship, and I can tell you the difference between a Miranda and a Soyuz class, which are essentially
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, crazy.
Love, it's sports utility vehicle.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you for straight-splaining the gays. Okay, shall we look at some assimilations and regenerations for the episode? We've already said that Denise famously says that she had to die to get a great episode, and I just think that is such a positive. That I was, honest to God, I was in love with Tasha Yar as a young teen. Certainly before certain chromosomes slotted into place. But actually, looking back, I think it was just the whole powerful woman aspect that I love, which is, you know, me and Christos talk about this all the time. The gays just love all of these strong women in Trek, especially if they've got some kind of, you know, tragic past that they're dealing with as trauma. We love it. But Tasha was probably the first Star Trek character that I latched onto as, who is this magnificent woman? So just having her back was a really big deal for me then, and it still is even now. So that's my assimilation.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, like the lighting and the uniforms were just really on point. And those uniforms looked like the Monster Maroons, right? They had that white little thingy majig and the badges. Was that really TOS era, or was it just modified to be similar?
It was the exact same movie uniforms. They just didn't have the white undershirt with them. They just went right on the flesh.
Yeah, so I noticed that and I was like, gosh, they just look so good. So that's definitely assimilation for me.
I think it was the first time we saw the movie uniforms in Star Trek at that point, which gave it a lot more like legitimacy almost.
Right.
I know we see Jack Crusher in one, but I don't think we saw him in it until season 4, which is after this. So I'm just going
that's
through.
Right.
I think these were the very first time we saw Monster Maroons in TNG.
So that definitely would not fly in this era of Trek, because apparently every season we get new uniforms, and heaven forbid we have 1701 wearing the same uniforms as 1701C. That would not happen.
So last season.
Yes.
Honestly, I hope that as the future goes on, people look at sustainable fashion where we don't have to be constantly getting new uniforms and whatnot. Wear the same thing. If it's still good, why are we changing it? I don't know.
Question, when did they come out? Was that 6?
No, Wrath of Khan.
Oh, okay. So we had definitely seen them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Any more assimilations? Kristin, have you? Oh, Mark, go on.
Oh, so the famous line, "Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise." Now, that definitely gave me goosebumps. The dialogue, so the writing of this episode was superb. I think a lot of the actors had some juicy dialogue, let's put it that way. But that was one that really sticks out for me. And also, I paid attention when I was watching it this time to the delivery, the choice, because I think you give that same line to a lot of other actors and they'd say, "Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise." Right? Which has a different sound than the emotion that's brought about by like just the emotional pause, the emotional weight of the captain reflecting on all of the history of the previous ships, and the emotion and the weight of it for Captain Picard himself. And he's not an emotional person. He keeps everything close to the chest. But for him, he was almost getting choked up in the delivery. And I think that's what brought the rest of us near to that point of tears, because it's just like, you know, let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise. You know, I just love that delivery. It was something
delicious. Kristin, any assimilations for you?
I mean, just circling back to what I said earlier about, you know, my favorite change in the alternate timeline was just no kids. So that's always good. And I don't know, assimilation just overall, I think how much this episode is really important and like a big, not turning point, but just like a pivot in the stories. And I think that just looking at how far reaching the ripple effects of this episode are with the rest of Trek, I think is sort of just my assimilation at large for this episode. Is just it's such an impactful and important storyline.
Well, one thing that I just realized was that this episode is a perfect book-ended episode, because we've got Guinan, who is sharing a drink with Worf, the prune juice, a warrior's drink. That's a great meme. But Worf in the episode isn't there because we're fighting the Klingons. And so we've got this little introduction. And then at the end, the very last scene is Guinan sitting down with Geordi, where Tasha's not around, but still saying, so tell me about Tasha. So it's like we see the beginning, and then Worf isn't in the episode. And then at the end, and all through the episode is Tasha. And then at the end, we're summing it up, but no Tasha. So it's a nice bookend.
It's lovely. I'm going to build a little on that and I think it's a regeneration missed opportunity. And it probably would have been easier to shoot. I would have liked it if Worf was still there. And Guinan said to Worf, tell me about Tasha Yar. Because obviously it's his predecessor. And they were. I just think it would have been a nicer conversation than Geordi and Guinan.
Oh,
personally.
yeah. Oh, so leads into our regenerations.
Yeah. Who wants to offer up a regeneration? It's quite hard in this episode. It is such a powerhouse of Trek.
I think that Wesley Crusher should have had more to do. Regenerate.
On Kristin's favorite place Reddit, there was a huge narrative of two people having an argument about Wesley Crusher being in this episode, saying no children on the Enterprise, he shouldn't have been there. And then someone said, yes, but he's enlisted. And then they said, well, he's too young to be an ensign at that. He wasn't even an active. And then they say, it's the wartime. They brought people in earlier, and you could be commissioned at 16, not 18. Yeah. And it went on and on.
I've been loving his development in Prodigy this latest season, and I'm like, wow, like the missed opportunities. We had so many opportunities for Wesley Crusher to develop. Thankfully, they're starting to develop the character now, but like, what a cool character. And I think it was a missed opportunity not having him a little bit more in this episode.
Yeah. Amy, have you got any regenerations?
Well, yeah, talking about missing characters, Troy, hello. We see her on the bridge sitting in her pretty blue dress, and that's all we get. No lines of dialogue, no helping the crew, nothing. Definite regeneration.
I wonder how much Marina got paid for that episode, because I think it's pretty much you get a standard salary for each episode. Like, I bet she was cartwheeling around that Paramount lot that week. Yes. Kristin, anything from yourself?
Another missed opportunity for one of my favorite characters. Why was Worf not shown to be one of the enemies on one of the attacking ships? Again, tie it in. Bring back what we know in different capacities so we can be like, oh, look, there he is. So yeah, because I think it would have been amazing to have seen sort of where he ended up in this alternate timeline and how that event with the Enterprise B affected his life as well.
Amazing. I mentioned earlier about the kind of the CGI versus the models that they were using at that point. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the visuals of the ships were pretty beautiful. But you know how they re-released the original series about a decade ago, and they redid via CGI all the external shots. I would love to see a CGI redo of this episode, and it just would have made that Klingon battle a bit more epic. Yeah, I just think so much. I don't know. Maybe it's sacrilegious. Maybe we don't like them to touch our TNG because it is perfect, but maybe a bit of a CGI zhuzh would have made things even better there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How about some trivia? Amy, would you like to start us off, please?
Well, I think sometimes too many chefs in the kitchen is a good thing, because the writing team was unhappy with the original script, mentions writer Eric Stillwater, as it was rushed and completed in 3 days, as well as the many inputs and rewrites by the entire staff, making this story chaotic in creation. Despite all this, yesterday's Enterprise is regarded as one of the best TNG episodes by fans.
So a very different earlier version of the story had Vulcan archaeologists accidentally change the future through the Guardian of Forever. This resulted in Surak, father of the peaceful and logical way of life, being killed. And so future Vulcans were violent and wiped out the Klingons. They turned to war with the Federation, and Spock's father, Sarek, features and is featured and persuades Picard to send him back to the past to replace the dead Surak and restore the timeline. Woo! Interestingly, this premise was later adopted by DS9 in the two-parter past tense, with Sisko replacing Gabriel Bell, who dies tomorrow.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's so funny. I mean, I know a lot of you have walked away from Twitter, but it is all over all of socials. But the amount of past tense memes that are on, and people showing pictures of Dax saying, "If you see this woman, tell her not to go in the temple."
Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to digress into a past tense, but how weird that this is the date this weekend of that episode taking place that we watched so many years ago, when you thought, oh, I'd be that age by the time that happens, and it's now.
Here we are.
Wow.
But yet it's only been 5 minutes since I originally watched that episode. I don't know how it happened.
Mark, here's your opportunity to tell us a little bit more about what Wesley could have done.
Oh no. Okay. A planned bloodier ending wanted to see Data electrocuted and poor Mr. Crusher's head blown off. Only Riker's grisly death was retained in the final cut. Oh no. Poor Wesley.
Poor Wesley.
Well, Michael Piller took his name off the credits, as rules set by the Writers Guild only allowed 4 names to be listed. Interesting.
I think that's really nice. I think that says something about the man, actually, with the, people wanting recognition, etc., that he stepped back away from it. I love that.
Helping lift others. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, this next one. My God, I live for this. So the events of the episode take place around the planet Archer 4. And it's mentioned as retroactive continuity that Jonathan Archer has planets named after him. And this is mentioned on In a Mirror Darkly when it shows his service record on screen. So Archer 4, this randomly named planet, is named after Captain Archer from Enterprise. And moreover, if you look at the star charts, this exact planet is the one that they visited in something like the 2nd or 3rd ever episode of Enterprise, Strange New World. The one where they all went a bit crazy in the cave and wanted to shoot T'Pol. But that planet is Archer 4. That's what it was named, because it was the first planet humans ever explored in the new Warp 5 ship. So linking yesterday's Enterprise straight to Enterprise and Captain Archer. Oh, it's just my favorite. I love it.
Well, Christopher McDonald, who played Richard Castillo, was in the running to play Will Riker during the 1986 season 1 castings. Yes, I do remember that.
Let's talk alternative timelines. How do we think he would have done if he'd been cast as Riker?
I mean, he would have done a good job, but we wouldn't have Jonathan Frakes.
I know.
And all that he's done for the franchise.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have sat in the chair quite the same way.
He wouldn't have been able to step over. No, he
Yep.
would have sit down like a normal person.
No Riker maneuver.
Which is boring.
While we're talking Riker maneuver, can I say as a little bit of a digress? You know, they always used to say that the reason they did like the Riker maneuver with this chair and that because the uniforms used to pull on their lower back, and they all had really bad back pain from wearing the season 1 and 2 uniforms. Mm-hmm. Well, I might have gone out in a spandex wrestling little singlet last weekend for Manchester Pride. And let me tell you, my lower back was in agony the day after. So I was doing the Riker maneuver quite a lot around the house. So I really feel for poor Jonathan Frakes. Maybe I was just wearing a size that was too small. Got me a lot of attention, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, them spandex outfits are very unforgiving on your back.
Well, it's like wearing a giant elastic trying to smush you down, right?
I was hunched.
Yeah, so it's not good for your spine health at all.
Okay, back to the episode. Enough of my fetish gear.
I will listen to your fetish gear all day long, Kelvin. Captain Garrett, Trisha O'Neill, would later return as Kurak in TNG Suspicions, and then again as Karinas in DS9's Second Skin, which is such a good episode. I just watched it the other day.
Me too.
Oh, it's so good. Did you really?
I'm into 2371 now on my season rewatch. So
I love it.
And amazingly, past tense, I was due to watch that episode at the right time now.
Oh, wow.
Without meaning to. I mean, I did stop watching for a couple of days to make it happen, but it's just serendipitous. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, a final scene blooper shows Geordi now back in the Prime timeline, speaking to Guinan in 10 forward, but he is still wearing the black cuffs from the alternate timeline's uniform.
Yeah, very well.
Someone should have caught that.
Tisk.
I was looking very carefully this morning, and not everyone talks about the cuffs. He also had the collar. I don't know if you noticed the collars on the alternate uniforms were much more rigid, and they didn't have the bit where they go down in the middle. It was just solid. And me and James were talking, saying, do you think they made new uniforms? And I think they just slotted something over, a bit like if you buy a shirt in packaging and they put that kind of plastic or thick cardboard around the collar to make it stiff. I think they just did that with all the uniforms, but he's also wearing that, so it wasn't just the cuffs; it was the cuffs and the collar.
Ooh, somebody really missed their day at work.
Yes.
Like, did the costume person call in sick and they were just left to their own devices?
Well, I'm wondering why they didn't record or film, all the parts with our Prime timeline and then film, so then you wouldn't make that continuity error.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, if they use Worf never had one of them uniforms because he wasn't in it, so that would have been much easier.
Yeah. Well, this episode was the first on-screen depiction of an encounter between two different starships enterprises. That was until Star Trek Picard, when in The Bounty, would later show the USS Enterprise NX-01 and USS Enterprise A on display together at the Fleet Museum. And Vox would show a restored USS Enterprise D flying past the former, while all three would be seen docked together as museum ships in The Last Generation.
Oh, Christos would have loved that bit of trivia.
Yes.
He loves the fact that you see the NX-01 in that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, we are here with final thoughts, and we've only got 3 episodes in our alternate timeline season. So we've done Enterprise Twilight and Voyager Timeless. So who did it better? Kristin, what do you think?
Oh, this one.
Huh.
Yesterday's Enterprise for sure. It's not even close. No offense. The other episodes are good, but this one just is the best, in my opinion.
Love it.
So I know we've covered it, but can you give me just a quick, as I've forgotten these Twilight and Timeless.
It's because the timeline's changed, Amy. They never
Right?
happened.
Timeless is the
Timeless.
one where
Go
they have
on.
to go. Oh, sorry. Timeless is the one where they have to go back in time. Oh my gosh, Harry Kim and my brain isn't
The
working.
pilot guy?
No,
Oh.
Chakotay. That shouldn't be that hard. They go back in time to undo because they were riding the waves through space, and the Voyager blew up, and just the two of them survived. And so Harry Kim's had survivor guilt all these years, so they go back in time to find Seven's ship and So that's Timeless.
And what's the Enterprise Twilight?
It is the Xindi are successful in destroying Earth, and they're all on SETI Alpha 5. And Paul is looking after Archer, who's infected with parasites that stop him getting
that's
long-term
right.
memories.
Oh, I do like that one. Okay, now this is tough. I really do like that one. But this is TNG. It's yesterday's Enterprise. It is better. I think there's more impact, especially with the Sela character getting birthed. So, yeah, I'm going yesterday's Enterprise.
Mark, what do you think?
So, Voyager's Timeless, was that directed by LeVar Burton?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He also appears in that one as a captain, which is kind of cool. That is one of my go-to favorite Voyager episodes. I love that they gave, Harry Kim a lot of stuff to do in a similar way that they gave Tasha Yar a lot in this episode. Here is like an underutilized character that they bring to the forefront as being almost like the star of the episode. So they have that in common. As far as importance to canon, though, I mean, it's hard to debate where that lies, because I think yesterday's Enterprise takes the cake as far as that's concerned for really altering the dynamics of the whole Trek universe. I think it's a close call with Timeless in this one, but I do have to fall on yesterday's Enterprise as being the winner.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. This is close for me because all three of these episodes would feature in my top 3 episodes of that particular series. So, Timeless is top 3 Voyager, Twilight is top 3 Enterprise. I love them all. But in a similar vein to what we've all said, yesterday's Enterprise is just magnificent.
Yeah.
I show me somebody who doesn't like this episode. This is one of those episodes that I will just put on when I want Trek to be on, but I'm not really going to sit and watch it. It's kind of just there because I know it. I could watch it on mute, know every word. I didn't have to do much of a rewatch, really. But I mean, I did anyway. So yeah, yesterday's Enterprise for me, Trek at its very, very best.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin and a guest as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed but should definitely check out, hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissie and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissie and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Trexperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio. So that's all, folks. All Good Things is taking a hiatus while myself, Kelvin, and recurring guest Kristin bring you The View Screen for the next 10 weeks. Starting live on Star Trek Day. Again, another fabulous happenstance. That is September 8th. And you catch us on YouTube. We go live 9 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. UK time.
But fear not, All Good Things shall return later in 2024 with an all-new season.
And don't forget to catch me in the meantime on Cinema Z with my co-host Matt Jennings. We have been putting out like an episode a month because we're both pretty busy, but we have some really great films coming up for you. We have another queer cinema pick that will be coming out next. And also we're planning on doing a couple of really fun sort of election themed episodes going into October and November. We'll be really pushing for, all of our listeners to get out and vote, exercise that important right as an American. Not everybody lives in a democracy across this great world, but we have the ability to really shape and change the future for all mankind with just simply going into the ballot box and voting, for change for the better for this world. So hopefully, you guys tune into our Cinema Z podcast, enjoy watching the movies, and also exercising your important right to vote.
And just to close the loop, Christos will be available, releasing more What's the Tea Bev over the next few months. So we are all going to be with you one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to hear what you thought of today's episode and hope you'll join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, or on our Discord server to continue the discussion there. Please make sure you follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcasts. And we've also partnered with our friends at the Fandom Podcast Network, where you can find us by searching the master feed. Links can be found in the show notes. So, Amy, where can people find you when you're not romancing men from 22 years in your past?
Ooh, man, I'd be so good if I was me going back. Okay, I would like to do that. Well, you can find me on Union Federation, where currently we are covering all the two-parters of TNG. So check out our podcast there. I am on, of course, our Facebook page, BQN Collective, and I'm loving our Discord server. Find me there, Amy Nelson 522. So, Mark, where can people find you when you're not drinking a warrior's drink of prune juice?
Well, I am in my 40s. When I'm not doing that, you guys can find me in the BQN Collective Facebook group. You guys can find me on Bluesky. You guys can find me at your local cinema watching some great films that are coming out. I'm really excited about Beetlejuice, by the way. Beetlejuice. Woo! Can't say it 3 times. Okay. So you guys can check me out there. And Kristin, where can people find you when oh geez you are not having the most interesting vacations?
Really, with Justin and I also planning to join everybody in Stitches next year, I am worried about getting stuck. But then, of course, I'm stuck in Spain. Oh no. Anyway, you can find me on in the Facebook page under the BQN Network. I am on Instagram at Keystrats, and of course, my favorite place, as Kelvin noted, Reddit, reading about all of the fun Bell Riot shenanigans going on right now. And Kelvin, where can people find you when you're not visiting a chiropractor to get readjusted from your time in your onesie?
I meant to do that this weekend and didn't make the appointment. I couldn't afford to spend the money. I'm so tight. When I'm not doing that, you can find me on the BQN Collective Facebook group, or you can come and message me socially on all the socials at Kelvin's Timeline, or you can catch me for the next 10 weeks on the view screen with you lovely lot.
If you'd like to help us keep all of your shows coming to each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon for just $1 a month. You can join our Let's Fly reaction show script readings and enjoy a special Patreon-only shows with It's Screen and Amy's Math Moments. Visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages.
Now, if becoming a patron isn't your thing, you can still support the show by sharing our posts on social media, talking about it with your friends, or hitting the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving us a star rating and written review. That really does help others to find the show.
At this time, we would like to thank our very own associate producers, Mahendran Radhakrishnan and JJ Seastrum. A special thanks to Graham Kelly for our opening closing music, and Mark White for our artwork each and every week.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you'll join us
as we search out
all good things. Vote. Make sure to vote.